Fellow fanatics, why is Captain America being dragged into a treason tribunal at Guantanamo Bay? And can Hulk smash Krill and save Ricky? Welcome to the Ordered Omnibus, where we intend to find out. Plus, the Ultimate Spider-Man is hitting a shocking landmark 50th issue. February 2004 is massive, so hit that like and subscribe button, and let's dive into this meticulously ordered saga. Captain America, Volume 4, Issue 21.
Lore keepers, this story kicks off in the Florida Everglades, where Captain America is on the hunt, confronting a gang of local men who are holding several illegal immigrant women in sexual slavery. Announcing that they're surrounded by federal and county lawmen, Cap orders them to surrender their weapons. They open fire instead, but like a whirlwind, Cap instantly lays the smackdown on all of the criminals. Afterwards, Cap asks an official what'll happen to the women and is told they'll be shipped back to their countries. One of the women approaches Cap and asks, "We go to America now?" A truly gut punch moment that lands perfectly. In a Brooklyn diner, Steve Rogers and the manager Phil hear on the radio that Iranian historian Fernand Hedayat has had his American citizenship revoked and been transported to Guantanamo Bay to be tried for treason by a military tribunal. The arrival of a young woman interrupts the conversation, and Steve offers her a place at his table. She introduces herself as Rebecca Kwan and recognizes Steve from the news. They chew the fat about her job as a logo designer and afterwards go for a walk along the rocky shore where she explains how Cap's shield is the perfect example of iconography. Near Steve's loft, they are met by two agents, Bender and Helper, from Homeland Security, who invite Cap to a meeting at the request of the regional director and General Barron. Steve bails on Rebecca and leaves with them. As their car crosses the Brooklyn Bridge, a masked figure in a van unloads on them with an automatic weapon. Steve seizes one of the agent's firearms and lays him out, causing the assailant to drop his weapon in the street. In the offices of the Department of Homeland Security, Steve meets with Tolliver and General Barron. They receive word that Agent Helper is dead and Bender is permanently disabled. A chaotic wake-up call to the dangers around them. A threat against the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel ensured that Steve would be brought over the bridge where the trap was waiting for him. They then get down to brass tacks. Fernand Hedayat has been transported to Guantanamo Bay for trial. They want Captain America to serve on the tribunal to restore the public's trust in the proceedings, kicking off a truly heavy new mission.
Elektra, Volume 2, Issue 30.
True believers, we begin this issue with a massive double-page spread showing the Prophet's heavily armed guerrilla camp as the soldiers organize to move out at sunrise. A subordinate Tika is sent to check on the princess and her guard, Samirk. Tika enters the tent and discovers that Samirk isn't present, and there is a wadded-up figure underneath the blankets. Tika mistakenly assumes this figure is the princess. Tika immediately issues a direct order. Tell the general that Samirk is gone, but that I myself will stand guard over the princess. Elektra stalks silently across the camp, flitting unseen from rooftop to rooftop above the noise of the ground troops. Her methodical route first takes her to the stables area, where she observes a soldier unloading a large cargo barrel from a horse's pack. The soldier looks inside the barrel and utters a single word, "Boom," confirming the Prophet's movement of explosive cargo. Elektra then moves to a building overlooking the compound's kitchen and dining area, dropping silently onto a nearby ledge, unseen by the two soldiers inside. She listens as the intoxicated soldier Marzak argues with his comrade, expressing doubt about the Prophet's long-promised offensive. She reacts instantly, dispatching both guards with surgical precision as she exits, announcing her presence only with their soft thuds. She finds the bed made up to hide the body of Samirk and realizes the princess has escaped. Elektra's identity is compromised when the soldier who replaced Samirk as the guard sees her, and the camp is immediately alerted. The princess has escaped. The chaos is amplified when the cargo in the horse pen explodes in a massive fireball, blowing up the camp and sending horses stampeding through the panicked soldiers. Elektra uses the resulting disorder to slip away, locating her true objective, the room of a small boy. Holding her sigh, Elektra is met by the child who calmly says, "If you've come in search of Elia Pialo, you have found him," revealing the target is a child prophet as the issue concludes on a deadly cliffhanger.
Exiles, Volume 1, Issue 38.
Omnifans, the mission opens with a gut punch. The team is forced to make a gruesome choice. In a moment of sheer emotional distress, Gambit cradles a dying Storm, while Ms. Marvel holds a grieving Bruce Banner. The team's logic engine, Vision, cuts through the grief, coldly stating that killing Bruce Banner would ensure the highest percentage of mission success, and Sklinch, Ms. Marvel, snaps his neck. A horrified Colossus protests, but his partner, Spider, casually mocks him, wondering how a pansy like this Colossus even avoided joining the Exiles. With her last breath, Storm asks Gambit not to leave her and for a forest before the rest of the team is teleported away. Gambit is left holding empty air as they materialize in the smoking rubble of Charles Xavier's school, and he finally turns his rage on their new team member, the superpowered alien Hyperion. Remy yells about the sheer unfairness of the Time Broker plucking them from their lives and forcing them to jump realities without making them indestructible. Gambit is so furious he ignores the Talus, leaving Ms. Marvel to brief their new heavy hitter. She explains the drill: follow the Talus, complete the mission, and go home. Otherwise, time itself is supposed to crash under the weight of a cosmic error. Their moment of shock is interrupted by Kitty Pryde, who phases partially out of a nearby closet, having witnessed the entire disturbing exchange. Just as Colossus enters and Kitty mistakes him for her own Peter, Vision flies back to the group holding a furious Gambit by the collar and announces the mission parameters: complete extermination of all remaining mutants on this world. This brutal order prompts Colossus to try and kill Kitty himself, but Hyperion steps in, shocking the team by refusing the mission. Instead, he proposes a new plan. They are going to rule the world. Hyperion easily settles the ensuing argument by blasting Vision in half and then explaining his logic. They all have nothing to go back to, so why not stay and rule this reality as gods? Spider immediately agrees, excited by the promise of unlimited murder. I choose trust. Gambit shrugs it off, Colossus reluctantly agrees, and Carol accepts the arrangement, even agreeing to Hyperion's terms that their affair will be only as often as he can between other women. Hyperion is satisfied, noting that Vision's lingering spark will prevent the Time Broker from sending a replacement. As this dark team prepares to seize control of Earth, Magneto, completely unaware of Hyperion's actions, orders the systems on Asteroid M to release the tractor beam. The asteroid's launch fails, but his technicians confirm that even without a successful launch, the Earth's gravity will pull the world-killing rock into the atmosphere, ensuring that mankind will go the way of the dinosaur.
The Incredible Hulk, Volume 2, Issue 64.
Vital Visionaries. We're diving into an absolute powder keg of a story where Hulk is being played like a puppet and his gamma-fueled fury is about to reveal a clandestine operation. The shadowy organization Home Base has finally managed to snag what they want: a sample of the Hulk's blood, courtesy of one of their gnarly, genetically engineered Krill creatures. But guess what? That Krill is hauling gamma gold straight back to headquarters, and the Hulk is on its tail, absolutely apoplectic. Meanwhile, Doc Samson, Betty Ross, Sandra Verduga, and Nadia Dornova are in a serious jam, surrounded by a legion of Krill with only a sputtering spotlight from a downed chopper keeping them at bay. The light is flickering, requiring one of them to brave the horde and restart the generator. Sandra, with her regenerative powers, volunteers, but the others rightly protest the insanity. Meanwhile, the Home Base mastermind incinerates a technician for his incompetence and orders the ominous S5 and S6 to start taking action because the big green guy is closing in fast. The action is non-stop and kinetic. The Krill monster dives into a crevice right outside the headquarters, and the Hulk, using his monolithic strength, rips the Earth wide open, revealing the entire hidden facility beneath. The Home Base leader orders a full-scale distraction, sending a swarm of choppers to attack the gamma-spawned monster, who promptly shreds them like wet tissue paper, simultaneously damaging their prepped laser cannon. This is pure Hulk smash catharsis. While this maelstrom is exploding above ground, Doc Samson and the others are running out of time before the light fails. Betty and Nadia drop some vital arcane knowledge. The Krill are vulnerable to water. With their shotgun kaput, Samson improvises a brilliant MacGyver-esque water cannon using a handgun, a busted rifle barrel, and Nadia's shirt. He then pulls the trigger, blasting a nearby water tower just as the Krill descend, short-circuiting the horde. Samson quickly gets the chopper operational and, leaving Nadia behind, rockets toward home base with Betty and Sandra. The final confrontation is a gut punch of ethical complexity and raw power. Inside home base, the sinister mastermind initiates the ultimate manipulation. He lures the Hulk back toward the damaged laser cannon by parading the child Ricky Myers, who is only in the facility because he's helping build a model of the experimental plan, as bait. The Hulk then forces his way into the heart of the facility, where an operative confronts him, asking if he's seeking the Krill or Ricky Myers before pointing to the boy. Driven by pure focused rage, the Hulk goes after the child, and that's when the mastermind unleashes the laser. The blast hits the Hulk with such incalculable force that the entire room caves in, burying the innocent boy alive beneath a mountain of rubble. What a revolt in development. The complexity here is massive, given Betty's unexpected presence and the whole nightmare-induced plot manipulation. This isn't just a simple rescue, it's a high-level psychological crucible for the Green Goliath. Epic. Period.
Supreme Power, Volume 1, Issue 5.
What's up, Comic Crusaders? And welcome back to our Supreme Power Breakdown. We're diving back into issue number 5, where Mark Milton has been gifted a luxurious high-rise penthouse as his new home following the tragic public pretense of his parents' deaths. But this isn't a gift, it's a golden cage. Mark is absolutely not content with the government's generosity, feeling less like a national hero and more like a prisoner from society. While the government attempts to pacify their Superman analog, deep within Project Hyperion, the caretakers are busy working on a new epic showdown, or rather, a new weapon to use against him. They're about to activate a countermeasure, the superpowered Joe Ledger. So, with Mark locked down, the scientists and military brass plan to reawaken Joe Ledger from his coma. Their goal is clear, lore keepers. Expose him to the powerful energy signature of Mark's original spaceship to not only gain another superpowered agent, but also to create a crucial deterrent against the insane power of Mark. This experiment is high stakes. Previous attempts to remove the strange alien prism genetically bonded to Joe's hand resulted in tragedy, costing the lives of personnel, including one orderly who literally turned to stone just by touching it during the transfer. Despite this horrific history, Dr. Bill Stedman examines Joe, confirms the prism is genetically bonding to him, and moves forward. They plan on stimulating electric currents into the prism while exposing him to the ship. The ship is kept safely behind 5 inches of lead shielding as a necessary precaution due to the high risks involved. The experimental period drags on for a long length of time without any sign of reaction from Joe, causing an impatient General Casey to lose his cool. He orders Dr. Stedman to retract the massive lead shielding. Just as the protection slides away, the ship suddenly emits a powerful, blinding white light that floods the entire facility. This absolute bang awakens Joe, who immediately flies out of the facility, free of both his coma and his handlers, and now a newly powered rogue element. Elsewhere, the attention shifts to Georgia, panel pundits, where booking agents Bill Gareth and Tom Henderson pay a visit to Abigail Stewart. They know her son, Stanley, is none other than the hyperspeed hero, the Atlanta Blur, and they want to offer him a high-profile job as a spokesman for major corporations. Initially, Stanley is wary of the agents and their offer, but eventually comes to accept it. He makes his first major public appearance on television, instantly catching the unprecedented attention of both the government and Mark Milton. The stage is now set for a cosmic crisis collision between Hyperion, the Atlanta Blur, and the newly awakened superweapon, Joe Ledger. Just be sure to join us next time as the full team starts to assemble.
Thanos, Volume 1, Issue 3.
Archivists, we are diving deep into the mind of a cosmic giant. In a breathtaking sequence of flashbacks, we see Galactus's tragic and lonely origin revealed. He was a scientist from Ta who was the sole survivor of the sixth cosmos. He plunged into the literal cosmic egg that caused the termination of his entire reality, and in its reformation at the Big Bang, he was reborn as the devourer of worlds. This heavy burden initially caused him immense guilt, forcing him to remain awake for millennia. But recently he discovered a bizarre energy signature, one that shockingly perfectly matches his own biospheric energy. He sees this matching signature as the ultimate solution to his terrible dilemma, a way to satisfy his hunger forever without destroying another planet. Meanwhile, the Mad Titan is not sitting idly by. Thanos, utilizing Moondragon's immense powers as a telepathic conduit, contacts Galactus and meets him as an equal on the mental plane. Thanos cuts straight to the point. What is Galactus trying to harvest from the planet Rigel 18? He proposes a temporary alliance, offering his aid in exchange for knowledge, a trade Galactus refuses to even consider. When Thanos tries to force the issue and mind meld with the Devourer to learn his intentions, Galactus brutally fights off this attempt. Infuriated by Thanos' effrontery, Galactus immediately resolves to kill the Titan. Thanos calmly dismisses the mind meld, calling it only a diversionary tactic. Because while the two cosmic powers were locked in a psychic duel, Pip the Troll was able to perform a flawless infiltration. Pip successfully planted various surveillance bugs within Galactus's worldship to hack his databases, revealing Galactus's ultimate plan is not to simply feed on the planet, but to trigger the system's sun to go nova, a colossal universe-altering explosion. Thanos and his crew must race away, but he quickly scans the exploding star and detects Galactus at its very center, retrieving something from the interdimensional portal within. The true objective, not energy, but the grotesque, fanged skeleton of Rune, with a powerful Infinity Stone affixed to its chest. This prize, a refugee from the Ultraverse, confirms Galactus is now an Infinity Gem collector. This entire cosmic drama, Galactus's hunger and his frantic destructive search for a permanent fix, has been carefully orchestrated by the mysterious, shadowy figure who finally steps out of the darkness. Comic Crusaders, this entity revealed by the pages to be Hunger, breaks the fourth wall, acknowledges the reader's presence, and says, "It is time to talk." Hunger confesses he's been studying us since the Infinity Gauntlet affair, and he has carefully positioned Galactus as his unknowing partner in crime. The true ancient threat has shown its face, and it's looking right at us.
Ultimate Spider-Man, issue 50.
Fellow fanatics, the story begins with a masterclass in cat burglary high above the city. On the Chrysler Building, a striking woman dressed in black, the infamous Black Cat, observes an office room in an adjacent skyscraper. Using a grappling dart, she ascends and covertly breaches the rooftop. Downstairs, two security guards notice the anomaly, and the younger, inexperienced guard is sent to investigate. He finds nothing until a gust of wind blows his hat off, sending him chasing it like a comedy routine. Black Cat takes advantage of the distraction, silently entering the rooftop door and locking the poor guard out. She moves with professional precision, blocking security cameras and eventually unearthing a hidden safe lock inside a desk's filing cabinet. Her prize? A mysterious broken piece of a tablet. The second half of the heist goes sideways fast. Two security guards, including the hat-chasing rookie, realize the office is open. Black Cat, displaying incredible agility, hides on the ceiling as they investigate and spot the open safe. In a classic moment of bad luck, one guard trips and accidentally discharges his gun. The bullet ricochets off the wall and strikes a fire sprinkler, causing a massive deluge of water to soak the entire office. Black Cat escapes to the roof, only to be confronted by none other than Spider-Man. Spidey is stunned by her appearance, but is shocked when she leaps over the building's edge. He dives to rescue her, only to realize he's been tricked. She was merely clinging to the side. Spider-Man scrambles back up using his wall-crawling ability, only to find his web shooters mysteriously not working. Black Cat engages him in a lightning-fast fight and easily subdues him, delivering a devastating punch to the face. As she prepares to make her final escape, she leaves him with a chilling warning. "Crossed a black cat! 7 years bad luck!" Peter, tripping as he tries to pursue her, is left lying on the roof as she vanishes into the city. He returns home and tries to study with Mary Jane, but is distracted, confessing his internal struggle. Is punching octopus arms really worth the risk? Mary Jane gently supports him, confirming she doesn't want him to stop being a hero just for him to be safe. Meanwhile, the Parker home drama ratchets up to a maximum level. Mary Jane's father, Greg Watson, arrives with MJ's diary in hand, demanding answers from Peter. He reveals a condensed entry detailing MJ's rescue by Spider-Man from the Green Goblin and furiously orders Peter to stay away from his daughter. Aunt May heroically intervenes, putting Greg in his place and forcing him to leave. After Greg storms off, Peter is honest with May about the danger MJ was in, while May, worried, prepares to take a walk by the Watson home. The episode closes with Peter seeing the news. Security camera footage of him chasing Black Cat is being broadcast, with reports suggesting they are accomplices in the theft. The camera captures Peter's shock as he realizes her final words were not just a threat, but a curse fulfilled. And that 7 years bad luck starts. Right now.
X-treme X-men, issue 36.
Narrative Navigators, a spiked gate opens to reveal the future arena champion, but first the status quo is bombed. Storm flies Gambit back to California where he and Rogue share a passionate reunion. The real news drops when Ororo tells the team the shocking truth. The government has made them official world-sanctioned police. The X-treme Sanctions Executive, or XSE Bishop, looking livid, recognizes the acronym instantly. He was a Xavier security enforcer in his future, whose job was to police the mutant populace. He fears their actions will only create his dystopian future, but Ororo fiercely grabs his jaw, asserting, "I am an X-Man, and that gives me hope." The team is now officially federal agents, whether they like the new government mandate or not. The political drama is quickly set aside as Sage confirms Storm's solo plan to track down the slaver Bogan in Tokyo. Ororo connects Bogan to Tullamore Voge, who first appeared in Uncanny X-Men number 383, noting they use the same muscle. When Sam asks about backup, Storm flat out refuses, prompting Bishop to warn her that her renowned stubbornness could be the death of her. Undeterred, Ororo flies toward Tokyo. Her mission is twofold. Not only must she stop the slaver, but she needs to prove to herself that her body is still capable of leading the X-treme team after her recent injuries. This solo journey is the ultimate test of her confidence. Meanwhile, Storm meets her longtime friend Yukio, who greets her with maximum adrenaline, jumping off a building. Ororo races to save her, only for Yukio to land safely, laughing. The comic history is rich. Yukio's anarchist influence in Uncanny X-Men number 173 inspired Storm's iconic Mohawk cut. Though Yukio was left paraplegic in the past by Lady Deathstrike and Omega Red, Wolverine number 174, Yukio presents a reluctant Storm with a flashing new outfit and warns her to enter the illegal Tokyo arena, she must look the part. She asks if Ororo is truly afraid of the clothes, or the untamed wild card they will help to set free. The two women, now dressed in skin-tight, revealing combat gear, enter the arena, a chaotic, alien-like entertainment center full of cheering crowds. They are given headsets that secretly scan for mutants, and while Yukio is cleared, Storm is exposed. Masato Koga invites them deeper, explaining that humans now prefer watching others fight for survival. Handmaidens quickly outfit Storm with a menacing red bird headpiece. At the bottom of the stairs, the true arena is revealed. Hundreds of people cheering two mutants fighting to the death. When Storm intervenes, the fighters turn on her. But a quick display of elemental power puts Musclehead down. Masato announces the newest champion, Storm. Ororo's reaction? "I feel glorious, and I want more."
Avengers, Volume 3, Issue 75.
The Unleashed Fury has arrived. Hawkeye's desperate move in the last issue succeeded in transforming Bruce Banner, and now the Hulk and the unstable She-Hulk are locked in a cosmic brawl. The two Green Titans immediately clash, their blows shattering the side of a mountain and sending Hawkeye tumbling to the ground below. Luckily, Captain America performs a veteran move, scrambling up a tree just fast enough to snag Clint before he hits the deck. They are quickly joined by Iron Man and the Scarlet Witch, the only available backup for this classic Avengers beatdown. While the military drops bombs, Hawkeye looks to his teammates for a plan. Tony Stark has one, but it's a massive risk. Iron Man places an urgent call to the Avengers embassy in New York, where Ant-Man, Scott Lang, is on monitor duty. Tony tells him they need the unpredictable power of Jack of Hearts, whose unstable energies have been growing since Avengers 58. Jack is sealed in the Zero Room to drain his excess power. The catch? The brand new lock makes manual extraction nearly impossible. Stark, knowing Scott was once a burglar, Marvel Premiere number 47, tells him to use his criminal skills to bypass the lock and get Jack out. Now. Back on the mountain, the situation is absolutely bleak. Scarlet Witch casts a desperate hex to kick up a blizzard, but only succeeds in earning the Hulk's full attention and a broken wrist. When the man monster attacks, Hawkeye fires 2 arrows directly at Hulk's eyes, but even the Hulk's eye tissue is super strong, shattering the arrows harmlessly. Captain America throws his mighty shield, which the Hulk effortlessly grabs midair. The Avengers are out of ideas. Meanwhile, armed only with a paperclip, Ant-Man shrinks down, enters the zero-room lock, and summons 2 ants to help him disable the 3 timer clocks. He succeeds in the impossible heist, and Jack of Hearts tumbles out, confused and glowing, ready for action. Jack arrives on the scene just as Iron Man's armor is trashed by a massive blow. Tony flies the remaining teammates to safety and gives Jack one final order: charge the 2 Hulks. Iron Man correctly gambles that the 2 Titans will absorb Jack's critical mass blast. The explosion knocks both Hulks unconscious, reverting them to human form. Before passing out, Jack of Hearts transfers all the residual gamma radiation into Jennifer, allowing her to change back into her more stable She-Hulk form. She-Hulk wakes up, returns the favor of a kiss to Hawkeye for helping out, then playfully tosses him aside for shooting her cousin. When Scarlet Witch asks if Clint is back from his time mentoring the Thunderbolts, he smiles and says, "Yeah, I'm back."
And that is where we pull the plug on the first part of the February 2004 Ordered Omnibus arc. We've seen Captain America dragged into some murky waters. The Incredible Hulk pits the Green Goliath against the Krill home base, and the Exiles continue their relentless flight across realities. And this is just the beginning of the fallout. Next time, things get even more wild when Iron Man making the tough calls, and we cover the monumental debut of the first appearance of X-23 and NYX-3, plus new stories dropping for Spider-Man, Thor, and the X-Men crew. You won't want to miss a single page of this meticulously ordered saga. And lastly, if you love learning how these legendary lore-laden story arcs lead to the complete Marvel chronological reading order, do me a favor. Like this video, obliterate that subscribe button, and ring that bell so you never lose a lovely look at the Ordered Omnibus complete year-to-year digital archive. Thanks for tuning in for our supersized saga, and make sure not to miss that next epic episode. Here's the titles we'll be covering next. We'll be seeing you next episode. Same ordered time, same ordered omnibus.